Ever experience that heavy, uncomfortable feeling in your stomach after what seemed like a perfectly healthy meal? You ate all the right things, yet something felt off. Today we're diving deep into the secrets of your digestion, uncovering the hidden enemies lurking right on your plate. We'll reveal the most dangerous and often surprising food combinations that can wreak havoc on your digestive system. And trust me, some of these combinations will genuinely surprise you, especially since they often masquerade as healthy choices. Now picture your stomach as a highly sophisticated laboratory. For every type of food, be it proteins, carbohydrates, or fats, it has specific tools, specialized enzymes. Proteins thrive in an acidic environment, while carbohydrates require an alkaline one. When you mix incompatible foods, that sophisticated lab descends into chaos. Systems break down, and instead of efficient digestion, you're left with fermentation, bloating, and uncomfortable distension. Understanding this simple principle is absolutely key to unlocking better digestion and overall well-being. Let's kick things off by talking about a sneaky mistake almost everyone makes, all while thinking they're doing something great for their health. It's that seemingly healthy and light dessert, fruit, right after a hearty lunch or dinner. On the surface, what could possibly be better, you ask? You've just had a substantial meal, and now you're adding a dose of vitamins to balance it out. An apple, an orange, a handful of grapes. We truly believe we're doing our body good, finishing the meal on a healthy note. But here's the catch. Fruit digests incredibly fast. It literally needs only 20-30 minutes to pass through your stomach. Your substantial meal, on the other hand, especially if it contained meat, potatoes, or pasta, sticks around in your stomach for several hours for thorough processing. Picture a bustling freeway. The fruit is a fast motorcycle, and your meal, that's a slow, heavily loaded truck. If that motorcycle gets stuck behind the truck on a narrow road, it can't get past. It just gets stuck in traffic. The exact same thing happens in your stomach. The fruit, trapped by the slow-moving food, starts to ferment and rot right there. The sugar in it turns into alcohol and carbon dioxide. This is where those uncomfortable feelings originate. Bloating, a heavy stomach, burping, and that sensation like you've swallowed a balloon. So, what's the solution? Here's a simple rule to remember. Treat fruit as a standalone meal. Eat fruit at least half an hour before your main meal, or wait 2 to 3 hours after. Let the truck clear the road before you launch the motorcycle onto the highway. Let's talk about the true lone queen of your table. A food so particular about its company that it's always best enjoyed alone. And this queen's name? Melon. Many love summer salads with melon and prosciutto, or savor it as a sweet dessert. But nutritionists and Ayurvedic specialists are united in their warning. Melon should never be combined with anything else. And we mean anything, not even other fruits. So, why is it so particular? It all boils down to speed. Melon is a true speed demon when it comes to digestion. Imagine it as the Usain Bolt of the food world. It literally sprints through your stomach, getting digested in the intestines in a mere 15 to 20 minutes. Now picture this. You've eaten it alongside other foods. This swift sprinter gets trapped in the same digestive chamber as slow-moving marathoners like meat or bread. The melon is ready to sprint ahead, but its path is blocked by other foods that require hours to digest. And what happens when it can't move? That's right, it starts to ferment. This leads to excessive gas, bloating, and that uncomfortable feeling like your stomach is about to burst. Melon simply isn't built for companionship. So if you truly love melon, treat it like the solo act it is. Enjoy it as a standalone snack, an hour before or 2 hours after your main meals. Let this queen have her well-deserved solo performance. Now, let's turn our attention to a true staple in fitness circles and healthy breakfast recipes. And while we're at it, let's debunk one of the most popular myths out there. We're talking about that famous mass-gaining shake, banana with milk. At first glance, it seems like the perfect duo. Potassium from the banana, calcium and protein from the milk. It sounds like a health elixir in a single glass. Millions of people kickstart their day with this smoothie, confident they're getting an energy boost. However, for our digestive system, this combination is surprisingly heavy and tricky to process. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian science of health, even explicitly labels this blend as toxic. So, what's the deal? It's simple. Despite its sweet taste, a banana becomes acidic during stomach digestion. Now, what happens to milk when you introduce acid? Exactly. It curdles. Right there in your stomach, a dense, viscous, cottage cheese-like mass forms, which is incredibly difficult for your body to break down. As a result, your digestive system is forced to work overtime. This combination doesn't just slow down your metabolism, it literally extinguishes your digestive fire. Instead of feeling energetic, you're left with a sluggishness, drowsiness, and a heavy sensation. Your body expends tremendous resources trying to process this mixture, which can also contribute to excess mucus formation. Yes, if your sole goal is mass gain at any cost, this might work. But if you're aiming for lightness, vitality, and overall health, it's far better to consume bananas and milk separately. Sticking with our dairy discussion, let's talk about a combination that acts even faster and more dramatically than pairing milk with bananas. It's nothing short of a chemical assault on your digestive system. I'm referring to milk combined with any acidic foods. Picture this common breakfast scenario, a bowl of cereal with milk, and right alongside it, a glass of fresh orange juice, or perhaps a smoothie that includes tart strawberries or pineapple. Sounds perfectly healthy and refreshing, right? But for your digestive system, it's a real-time catastrophe unfolding. Think about how homemade cottage cheese is made. You add a little lemon juice to warm milk, and it curdles almost instantly, separating into curds and whey. Well, that exact same chemical reaction happens right inside your stomach when you combine milk and acid. Casein, the primary protein in milk, instantly coagulates, or curdles, when it meets the acid from fruits or juice. What forms in your stomach is a dense, sticky, and incredibly hard to digest clump. Your digestive system simply isn't equipped to handle this. Instead of smoothly absorbing nutrients, your body has to expend immense energy trying to break down this stubborn mass. The outcome is predictable. Feelings of heaviness, stomach pain, excessive gas, and a general disruption of your entire digestive process. So remember this crucial rule. Milk and oranges are not friends. And it's best they never meet in your stomach. Now, let's turn our attention to a true timeless classic, a go-to meal that millions adore. The hearty, flavorful, and incredibly familiar combination of meat and potatoes. Whether it's a juicy steak with fries, a comforting pot roast, or roasted chicken with creamy mashed potatoes, for many, it's the gold standard for an ideal dinner. But let's take a look at this beloved pairing from your stomach's point of view. And I assure you, it's far from a match made in heaven for your gut. This is, in fact, one of the most challenging and incompatible food combinations, a real workout for your digestive system. So, what's the core issue? It all comes down to fundamentally different digestive processes. Meat is a concentrated protein. To break it down effectively, your stomach needs to release highly acidic gastric juices containing the enzyme pepsin. It requires an intensely acidic environment. Potatoes, on the other hand, are primarily starch. And for starches to be properly digested, a completely different, alkaline environment is essential. This relies on enzymes like amylase, which actually start breaking down carbohydrates in your mouth with saliva. When you eat meat and potatoes together, you're essentially setting off a war of enzymes in your stomach. The strong acid released for the meat completely neutralizes the alkaline enzymes vital for potato digestion. As a result, the starch can't be properly processed. It simply sits undigested, starting to ferment and even putrefy, and your body struggles to efficiently absorb the protein, which stays in your stomach far longer than it should, all thanks to that undigested starch. This is precisely why you often feel that prolonged heaviness, heartburn, and intense post-meal fatigue, or food coma, after what seems like the perfect dinner. Instead of fueling you, your body is diverting all its resources to cleaning up the digestive mess. Let's continue our discussion on starches and expose another one of their tricky partners, a side dish that seems so innocent and versatile: pasta or rice with tomato sauce, bolognese, tomato risotto. Who doesn't love these dishes? But even here, our stomach faces a serious challenge: the culprit, the tomato. Despite widely considering it a vegetable, botanically speaking, the tomato is an acidic berry, and this acidity clashes with starchy carbohydrates. As we've already discovered, to break down the starches found in pasta, rice, or bread, we need an alkaline environment and the enzyme amylase, which begins its work right in your mouth. But when you add the acid from tomatoes into the mix, the same thing happens as with meat. The acid blocks the action of amylase. As a result, starch digestion dramatically slows down or stops altogether. It lingers in your stomach, causing fermentation, bloating, and a feeling of discomfort. Your body expends a tremendous amount of energy trying to deal with this incompatible mixture, leading to fatigue and drowsiness after your meal. You've probably noticed this state, jokingly referred to as a carb coma, after a big plate of pasta. Now you know it's not just about the quantity, but also the combination. If you want to make things easier on your stomach, try replacing tomato-based sauces with cream-based ones or pesto, which contain far less acid. Many of us are huge cheese lovers, sprinkling it on almost everything to boost flavor and make a meal more satisfying. Double cheese pizza, pasta with parmesan, a cheddar burger, you name it. But let's talk about a very popular, yet surprisingly heavy, combination: meat and cheese. A juicy cheeseburger, a hearty meat lasagna with mozzarella, chicken smothered in cheese. It all sounds incredibly mouth-watering. But for our digestive system, it's a real 1-2 punch that can leave it feeling utterly overwhelmed for hours. So, what's the real issue here? Both meat and cheese are protein-dense foods. When they hit your stomach together, they demand a significant amount of gastric juices and enzymes for breakdown. That alone puts a tremendous strain on your system. But that's not all. Cheese, especially melted or fatty varieties, is also packed with fat. Fats are known to slow down gastric acid secretion and essentially put the brakes on the entire digestive process. What's the net effect? You're consuming a double dose of protein, which already takes a good while to break down, and then you essentially coat it all with fat, which brings the whole digestive process to a grinding halt. This protein and fat-rich concoction can linger in your stomach for an extended period, leaving you with a heavy, brick-in-the-stomach feeling, bloating, burping, and overall lethargy. Your body has to divert massive resources to process this conglomerate, siphoning energy away from other vital functions. Perhaps next time, it's worth considering just one. Either meat or cheese. Today, let's debunk a myth about the quintessential summer salad, that symbol of freshness and health. Cucumbers and tomatoes. Yes, you heard correctly. This classic combination, a staple of any summer lunch, isn't actually as beneficial as we've been led to believe. From a taste perspective, they're a perfect match. A juicy, crisp cucumber alongside a fragrant, plump tomato. But biochemically speaking, they're true antagonists. Their friendship in a single bowl might actually do more harm than good. The main culprit here is the cucumber. It contains a special enzyme called ascorbinase. And here's the catch. This enzyme actively destroys vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid. As we all know, tomatoes are one of the primary sources of that very same essential vitamin. So, what happens when you slice them together into one salad? The ascorbinase enzyme from the cucumbers immediately goes to work, actively breaking down all the vitamin C from the tomatoes. The result? You get a delicious salad, but one that's virtually useless from a vitamin perspective. You might think you're loading your body with nutrients, but in reality, one ingredient is neutralizing the benefits of the other. What's more, they also have different digestion times, which can create an additional burden on your system. So, if you want to maximize the health benefits, eat your cucumbers and tomatoes separately, ideally with at least a 30-minute interval in between. Let's head down to Mexico, the birthplace of burritos and nachos. Today we're talking about a combination that forms the backbone of many Tex-Mex dishes, yet is a true champion of digestive discomfort. Beans and cheese. Bean and cheese quesadillas, burritos where a creamy bean filling snuggles up to melted cheddar. Sounds hearty and delicious, right? But if you've ever felt like a hot air balloon after such a meal, know this: you're definitely not alone. So, what's the deal with this dynamic duo? Let's break it down. Beans, like other legumes, contain complex carbohydrates that our bodies can't fully digest. As bacteria in our gut break them down, gas is naturally produced. This alone can cause bloating for many people. Now let's add cheese into the mix. Cheese is a dense food, rich in protein and fats, which naturally slows down digestion. On top of that, many adults have some degree of lactose intolerance, a difficulty digesting milk sugar. Undigested lactose also ferments, leading to even more gas. What do we get when we combine these? We're bringing together two ingredients, each a potential culprit for bloating on its own. Together they create a veritable bomb in your gut. The fermentation process is amplified manifold. It's almost a guaranteed recipe for gas, discomfort, and that unpleasantly full feeling. So, if you have a sensitive digestive system, you might want to steer clear of this explosive Mexican duo. Back to breakfasts. After all, The morning meal truly sets the tone for your entire day. And what's the go-to healthy breakfast championed by every fitness guru? A bowl of natural yogurt with fresh berries or fruit. It's practically a health anthem, right? But what if I told you that for many, this perfect breakfast is actually a direct route to discomfort? The problem once again lies in the combination of dairy and acid, especially when you're adding acidic fruits like strawberries, raspberries, kiwi, pineapple, or citrus to your yogurt. When the acid from these fruits meets the milk protein in your digestive tract, it can significantly slow down digestion. This can create a prime environment for fermentation. What's more, Ayurvedic medicine suggests that this combination can alter your gut flora and even contribute to the formation of toxins. As a result, instead of feeling energized and light, you might experience a feeling of heaviness, acidity, or even bloating. Your body ends up spending energy not on absorbing nutrients, but on battling the aftermath of this seemingly perfect breakfast. If you often notice these symptoms, try eating your yogurt and fruit separately, with at least an hour between them. You might be surprised how much better you feel. All right, let's switch gears from what we eat to what we drink with our meals. Specifically, a habit that feels completely natural, but is actually sabotaging our digestion. I'm talking about ice water during meals. A glass of ice-cold water, especially on a hot day, seems like the perfect mealtime companion. We think we're helping our food along, but in reality, we're actually throwing a wrench in the whole process. Imagine your stomach as a hot furnace, where a complex chemical process of digestion is taking place. For it to work efficiently, it needs to maintain a specific temperature. When you quickly gulp down a glass of ice water, you're essentially dousing that fire. So, what happens next? First, that cold liquid causes your blood vessels in the stomach walls to constrict. This drastically reduces their ability to release digestive juices, and the entire process slows to a crawl. Secondly, and this is especially critical if you're eating something fatty, the cold actually solidifies fats. Instead of breaking down and being absorbed, these fats harden and turn into dense, difficult-to-digest lumps. They then sit in your stomach like a heavy burden, slowing things down and often leading to that bloated, sluggish feeling. Your body is forced to expend extra energy just to warm up this mass before it can even begin to break it down. The ideal temperature for any drink with your meal is room temperature or slightly warm. So go ahead, save the ice for your cocktails and keep it out of your dinner glass. Calling all tea lovers, get ready. Today, we're diving into a tradition cherished across cultures, from England to India, the beloved cup of tea with milk. This beverage seems so comforting, sophisticated, and beneficial. It's a blend of tea's antioxidants with milk's calcium and protein. What could possibly go wrong? As it turns out, within this seemingly perfect pairing, a silent battle is taking place that surprisingly undermines the goodness of both. The main active compounds in tea, the troublemakers, if you will, are called tannins. They're responsible for that distinct, astringent, sometimes puckering taste. On the other side, we have milk, with its primary protein, casein. Now, when these tannins from tea meet the casein from milk, they form strong chemical bonds. In essence, they lock together. So what happens then? Firstly, these bound tannins lose their beneficial antioxidant properties. Your tea loses much of its heart-healthy benefits. Secondly, the bound casein becomes very difficult to digest. Instead of nourishing your body, this protein either passes through undigested or puts an unnecessary strain on your digestive system. Ultimately, you're consuming a drink where the goodness of one ingredient effectively cancels out the other. You still get that comforting taste, but not the health boost you might have expected. To truly reap the maximum health rewards, consider enjoying your tea and milk separately, ideally with at least an hour's gap in between. What about coffee lovers? For many, the morning ritual begins with a fragrant cup of coffee and a cheese sandwich. It's quick, satisfying, and seems like a perfectly balanced breakfast. Protein and calcium from the cheese, energy from the bread, and that wake-up kick from the coffee. Sounds ideal, right? Unfortunately, not quite. This common combination holds a significant hidden drawback, specifically concerning the absorption of one of our body's most vital minerals, calcium. Cheese is an excellent source of calcium, essential for our bones, teeth, and nervous system. We eat that cheese sandwich hoping to boost our health. But this is where coffee steps in. It contains tannins, just like tea, along with caffeine. These substances have the ability to bind with calcium, hindering its absorption in the gut. What's more, caffeine acts as a diuretic, further contributing to the flushing of calcium out of the body. So, what's the outcome? You consume a valuable dose of calcium, but your morning coffee does everything it can to prevent it from being absorbed. Most of that mineral simply passes through your system, offering little to no benefit. You're essentially shortchanging yourself, turning a potentially healthy breakfast into a largely ineffective one. If you want the calcium from dairy products to truly work for you, make sure to wait at least 40 to 60 minutes between consuming them and enjoying your cup of coffee. Let's dive into the classic English breakfast menu, bacon and eggs. For many, it's the quintessential hearty start to the day. The aroma of crispy bacon and the sight of a perfectly fried egg, a combination that gets your appetite going with just one glance. But from a nutritional standpoint, this is one of the heaviest combinations you could possibly imagine. It delivers a significant blow to your digestive system, particularly your pancreas. So, what's the problem? Both eggs and bacon are incredibly high in protein and fat. When such a concentrated mix of protein and fat hits your stomach, it demands a colossal effort to digest. Your body is forced to produce an enormous amount of enzymes just to cope. A breakfast like this can sit heavily in your digestive tract for hours, leaving you with a feeling of sluggishness that lasts until lunchtime. Far from energizing you, it actually depletes your energy. All your body's resources are diverted not to mental or physical activity, but to processing this bomb of a meal. What's more, regularly consuming such a heavy meal places immense strain on your liver and pancreas. If you want to start your day feeling light and energetic, it's better to choose one or the other. Either eggs with vegetables, or, if you're really craving it, a couple of slices of bacon with whole grain toast. But combining them? That's just too heavy duty for breakfast. Today, let's dive into the world of exotic flavors and discuss a combination you might never have considered, but one that could potentially carry a hidden risk. We're talking about the duo of lemon and papaya. What could possibly be wrong, you might ask? Both fruits are packed with vitamins. Papaya is rich in the enzyme papain, known for aiding digestion, while lemon is a well-known source of vitamin C, They are often mixed together in fruit salads or smoothies to create a tropical flavor. However, some studies and nutritionists strongly advise against this combination. It's believed that consuming lemon and papaya together might lead to an imbalance in blood composition, specifically affecting hemoglobin levels. Hemoglobin is the protein in our red blood cells responsible for transporting oxygen throughout the body. Maintaining stable levels is crucial for our overall health and well-being. According to some reports, a chemical reaction between substances found in lemon and papaya could potentially trigger the development of anemia, particularly in children. While this issue still requires further research, the principle of better safe than sorry definitely applies here. If your family has a predisposition to anemia, or you're simply health conscious, it's best not to take risks and consume these two wonderful fruits separately. When it comes to health, safety always comes first. Think food incompatibility is just about fruits and proteins? Think again. Even vegetables can clash on your plate. Let's talk about two very popular members of the nightshade family: potatoes and eggplants. Stews with eggplant and potatoes, casseroles, vegetable sautés. These dishes are common on our menus. Both vegetables are tasty, filling, and seem like perfectly friendly companions. But for some people, combining them can lead to significant digestive issues. So what's the deal? Both potatoes and eggplants are rich in starch. But beyond that, eggplants also contain other compounds that can be tough to digest. Paired with the heavy starch of potatoes, this creates a double burden on your stomach and intestines. People with sensitive digestion or those prone to inflammatory processes in the body may react particularly strongly to this duo. The nightshade family, in general, is known for potentially triggering inflammation in some individuals, and when two of its members come together, this effect can be amplified. Furthermore, eggplants are like sponges, soaking up a lot of oil when fried. If you're preparing fried potatoes with fried eggplants, you're not just getting a hard-to-digest combination, but a true fat bomb. This can lead to heaviness, bloating, and discomfort. If you enjoy both these vegetables, try to prepare them separately and pair them with lighter foods. Moving beyond everyday meals, let's talk about party drinks, and one of the most dangerous concoctions you could ever imagine: the mix of alcohol and energy drinks. Plenty of people combine vodka or whiskey with popular energy drinks, hoping to stay energized and party all night long. This mix creates a false sense of control and alertness, but in reality, it's a deadly gamble with your body, especially your heart. So how does this dangerous cocktail work? Alcohol, by nature, is a depressant. It slows down your central nervous system, dulls your reactions, and makes you sleepy. An energy drink, on the other hand, is a powerful stimulant, packed with massive doses of caffeine, taurine, and sugar that jolt your nervous system awake. When you mix them, you're essentially sending two completely conflicting signals to your body at the same time. The stimulant in the energy drink effectively masks the effects of the alcohol, which is a depressant. This makes it incredibly difficult to accurately gauge how intoxicated you really are. You might feel wide awake and in control, even as your blood alcohol concentration climbs to dangerous levels. This significantly escalates the risk of alcohol poisoning, accidental injuries, and impulsive, poor decisions. But the most alarming impact is on your heart. It takes a double hit. Alcohol disrupts your natural heart rhythm, while the caffeine forces it to pound at an unnaturally rapid pace. This immense strain can lead to arrhythmias, a sudden spike in blood pressure, and in the worst-case scenario, even a heart attack. Yes, even in young and otherwise healthy individuals. Remember this: alcohol and energy drinks are not allies. Their combination can, and often does, lead to tragic consequences. Speaking of alcohol, let's explore another combination that's incredibly harmful, yet sadly, very common: alcoholic beverages paired with rich, fatty foods. Think of grilled meats with a shot of cognac, beer with greasy sausages, or vodka with fried potatoes and pickles. For many, these pairings are a staple of any gathering. We often believe a substantial meal buffers the effects of alcohol, but what we're actually doing is putting our liver and pancreas through immense strain, a true metabolic nightmare. So what exactly happens inside your body? The moment alcohol enters your system, your liver immediately puts aside all other tasks and goes into emergency overdrive to neutralize it. For your liver, alcohol isn't just a substance, it's poison, the #1 toxin that needs to be dealt with as quickly as possible. Now imagine simultaneously burdening your body with a large amount of fatty food alongside that toxin. Processing fats is also one of the liver's primary responsibilities. Suddenly, it's faced with an impossible dilemma. Which task takes priority? Neutralizing the poison or digesting the fat? Because neutralizing alcohol is literally a matter of survival, the liver prioritizes this process. The breakdown of fats, however, gets pushed to the back burner. Consequently, these fats aren't properly metabolized. Instead, they start accumulating directly within your liver cells. This is a direct route to developing fatty liver disease or steatosis. Furthermore, this intense double burden can also trigger acute pancreatitis, a severe inflammation of the pancreas that poses a significant health risk. For a healthier approach, the best accompaniments to alcohol are light, low-fat options. Think vegetables, lean protein, or fruits. Now let's talk about a combination that can literally feel like a mini volcano erupting in your stomach: mint and carbonated drinks. We all know the famous Mentos and Coke experiment. Drop a mint candy into a soda bottle, and you get a dramatic eruption of foam. It's an impressive, but perfectly safe spectacle when it happens outside. Now imagine that same kind of reaction unfolding right inside your stomach. Certainly you won't experience an actual geyser, but the underlying principle is identical. The surface of mint candies or mint syrup contains microscopic imperfections that act as nucleation sites, rapidly accelerating the release of carbon dioxide from the beverage. This triggers a sudden and extensive foaming. So, when you have a mint candy, mint gum, or a mint-flavored syrup, and then chase it with a fizzy drink, a similar reaction kicks off inside your stomach. The carbon dioxide, which is supposed to be released gradually, is instead unleashed in an avalanche. This can lead to sudden and intense bloating, a feeling of severe distension, frequent burping, and even pain. Your stomach literally inflates from the inside out. This is particularly hazardous for individuals who already deal with gastrointestinal issues like gastritis or reflux disease. So, next time you're craving a refreshing treat, make a choice. Either enjoy mint or grab a soda. But whatever you do, never combine the two. Finally, we've arrived at the most critical and potentially most dangerous combination. This isn't just about discomfort. It could pose a genuine threat to your health and even your life. We're talking about certain medications interacting with seemingly innocuous products, such as grapefruit or other citrus fruits. When many of us catch a cold, we reach for cough medicine, often pairing it with lemon tea or grapefruit juice for a boost of vitamin C. While this sounds logical, it could be a deadly mistake. The issue is that grapefruit and certain other citrus fruits contain compounds called furanocoumarins. These substances interfere with one of our liver's most crucial enzymes, cytochrome P450. This particular enzyme is responsible for breaking down and eliminating a vast number of medications from the body. This includes cholesterol-lowering statins, certain antibiotics, heart medications, and significantly, dextromethorphan, a common active ingredient in many cough syrups. So, what happens when this enzyme is blocked? The medication can no longer be properly metabolized and removed from your system. Its concentration in the bloodstream begins to skyrocket, quickly reaching toxic levels. This is essentially like taking multiple doses at once, a severe overdose. With cough syrup, this could lead to serious side effects, ranging from rapid heartbeat and dizziness to hallucinations and even respiratory depression. So, here's the golden rule. Always read the instructions for any medication carefully, and never wash down your pills with juice, especially grapefruit juice. The best and safest drink for taking medicine is always plain water. Now let's talk about something truly astonishing. You just heard about lemons and cough medicine. But this isn't just about discomfort. It's a genuine health risk. Certain medications containing dextromethorphan, when combined with grapefruit or even lemon, can trigger severe side effects, including hallucinations. This happens because your liver can't properly metabolize them. It's a shocking twist. A common fruit can turn a beneficial medicine into something harmful. But equally surprising is how many commonly accepted, healthy food combinations can actually do us harm. Think about a banana milk smoothie, often consumed for gaining weight, or yogurt with berries for breakfast. We believe we're doing ourselves a favor, but in reality, we're creating a battleground right in our own stomachs. The key takeaway here isn't to start fearing food. Instead, it's about listening to your body and understanding that even the best ingredients, when mixed incorrectly, can become your adversaries. I hope this video was helpful and gave you a fresh perspective on what's on your plate. If you learned something new, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more fascinating health facts. What strange or unpleasant food combinations have you encountered in your life? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's discuss.